All right, it's time for the morning trade. We're looking at Berkshire Hathaway. The company's annual shareholder meeting is this weekend. Very lucky if you get to attend this meeting and hear from Warren Buffett himself. For preview, we welcome in Schwab Network contributor Marley Kayden, a financial journalist, a face and name you may recognize already. Welcome here today, Marley. I'm glad you're here. And some of the expectations on Berkshire Hathaway this morning.
Thanks so much, Nicole. I'm glad to be here as well. Expectations, a lot of them, of course. This is a meeting that's widely watched anyway, this annual shareholder meeting. What they're looking for in terms of earnings, they're expecting an EPS roughly 472. That's what expectations are calling for. It's a slight drop from the 520 that they did see in the same quarter last year. But historically, Berkshire Hathaway tends to post a beat. So it could be a conservative estimate. More than that, though, I think we're looking for commentary from Warren Buffett, right? The Oracle of Omaha. Everybody wants to know what he has to say about the tumult we're seeing in the economy, about the uncertainty. What are some of his predictions? And what are they going to do with all of that cash they're sitting on? Right now, an all-time high $334 billion. Most of that is in U.S. Treasury bills, but they have a lot of cash that they're sitting on. So I think investors waiting to hear, do they plan to deploy it and how? Also, that succession subplot. Lots of people want to see how involved Greg Abel's going to be in this shareholder meeting.
Yeah, understood. I mean, with the loss of Charlie Munger, Berkshire Hathaway has still, and may he rest in peace, has still shined, has still been a winner, still at new highs. But this is going to be a 4.5-hour discussion with questions live. And at 94 years old, the succession plan is something that people want to hear more about. I mean, there's no doubt that this has been a clear winner, and Berkshire Hathaway, there's an article that says if the stock dropped 99%, it's still in the S&P 500 over the 60 years as a winner because of how Warren Buffett played it. He wasn't a high flyer. He was a conservative investor in many ways.
Absolutely. He's been conservative. He also tends to move in opposition to the market historically. That's why he's become so widely respected, because some of his moves are somewhat and seemingly unpredictable. That's why people wait to hear from him. He's the oracle, as close to a god as the finance world has. And they're performing in the top 40 in the S&P 500 right now. So even if they did take a hit, which they certainly haven't, they're outperforming the S&P by a great deal, up roughly, I think, 18% so far this year. You know, they're looking great. But what's going to happen with their earnings? We won't know until tomorrow morning at 7 Central. Then they'll kick off that meeting an hour later with a live Q&A. And that, I think, is what investors are waiting for just as much as those actual earnings results.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, he generally has stayed away from politics. The tariffs are a big topic on Wall Street. Expectations at all of what he may weigh in on when it comes to that?
He has made some small commentary about the uncertainty in the markets. He's always pro-American economy whenever he does speak. He did briefly a few weeks ago touch on the tariffs and said something about them transitory, that he's still pro-American economy. He still sees an upside potential, but he typically doesn't comment on the micro environment. Like you said, that's not his style. He's much more big picture, and he is still buying. So I think a lot of people are looking at that. If Warren Buffett is still buying in this uncertain economy, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, and I see UBS has, on the 25th of April, has a target of 606. We're at 536 today. All right, Marley Kayden, great to see you. Thank you so much. Great coverage there of Berkshire Hathaway and, of course, the big meeting tomorrow. Thank you, Marley. Charles Moon is with us, Senior Market Strategist for Equities at Prosper Trading Academy. FOB, friend of Buffett. Everybody wants to be his friend, wants to know what he's investing in, invest like Buffett, because he's had an incredible track record. The stock has been hitting some new highs. Some of your thoughts on example trade. Good morning, Charles Moon.
Good morning. Yeah, so we've seen Berkshire Hathaway hold up really well, relatively well in this market environment. In fact, they just made new 52-week highs this morning, and this is a really good sign. This 539 price level has been pressed up and really shown a lot of resistance. So, you know, there's a strong possibility that if they do well on earnings, that we're going to see this stock break out Now, the expected move is around $16 for earnings. I'm looking into the upside right now on a vertical call spread. I want to go long the 535, short the 545s. You should be able to get it somewhere between 360, 370. The risk is going to be the cost of the trade. I think the reward is going to be a 2-to-1 here. So somewhere around 7.5 easy to pull out. Now that the question is, will it be easy in relation to what he has to say? With earnings expectations actually lower than previous, it's teed up for them to beat. And of course, if Warren Buffett alludes to the fact that he's now taken that huge cash holding and starting to reapply it into the markets, people may find that extremely favorable and, of course, very profitable for Berkshire Hathaway as the market has rebounded.
Yeah, I mean, they've been investing in Japan. That's been something he's been talking about in trading houses and the yen. And there's been chatter about Compass and talks to acquire the Home Services of America, the succession plan, a lot of cash on hand, and as you noted, all-time highs for the stock. Some of your thoughts as we wrap up this week, and I guess you're already looking forward to next week. Final thoughts here.
Yeah, the market has been really resilient. We've been on this 8-day winning streak in the S&P. It looks like we're headed towards day 9, and again, this is not something that people have been expecting under this current environment. But you've seen the market start to absorbing any of the negative tariff news, very responsive on any positive news, such as today. And, things have really shifted in terms of sentiment, at least for the near term. Now, we're still below the 200-day moving average. That's going to be a very critical level. The last time the markets approached this level, we just absolutely collapsed almost in a waterfall down. So, the response at that level is going to be really important. But as of right now, it seems like the market is starting to put risk on, and I believe the earnings season with the Mag 7 is playing a major role in that.
With risk on, are you more likely to try and buy dips, sell rips? You expect more volatility?
Yeah, 100%. I still think that we still have to maintain a short-term thesis until a deal is actually being consummated. These are just, barbs that are coming out through the news feed. It's the same reason what brought the markets down. It's the same reason that's bringing it back up. Everything is a reactionary move at this moment. So until we get back to the fundamental base, and again, that's, the unpredictability is when the deal is going to happen, if a deal is going to happen. We still have to remain on edge. And again, it's more of a micro versus macro outlook at this point.
All right, Charles Moon, Senior Market Strategist for Equities Prosper Trading Academy. Good to see you, Charles. Thanks.